Due to the content of this presentation, parental guidance is recommended to 16 years. Black metal, often referred to as satanic extreme metal, stands as a subgenre within heavy metal renowned for its extreme and anti-commercial nature. The origins of this genre can be traced back to the early 1980s. This initial phase, often termed the first wave of black metal, featured influential bands like Venom, Bathory, Hellhammer, Celtic Frost, and Sarcophago, and the very name black metal itself finds its origins in Venom's album titled Black Metal. But it was during the late 80s and early 90s that Norwegian bands played a defining role in shaping the genre in what has been dubbed the second wave of black metal. This wave was led by Norwegian luminaries such as Mayhem, Burzum, Darkthrone, Immortal, and Emperor. This wave not only redefined and propelled black metal into stardom, but also brought with it a series of controversial happenings, including church burning, suicide, and even murder. The violence had its roots in the so-called Black Circle, comprised of a small assembly of young individuals ranging from their late teens to mid-20s. They congregated in the basement of the Helvet record store, meaning Hell, owned by Øystein R. Seth, who later would be murdered. It was within this environment that the second wave of black metal began to take shape in Norway, thrusting the nation into international prominence as a purveyor of satanic rock or black metal.
Hvis dette er det verste dere har hørt, så har dere fullstendig rett.
Black metal er verdenskjent. Har Ibsen, Kittelsen, Edvard Munch og norsk black metal. Black metal har blitt en del av det norske DNA-et. Uansett om man vil eller ikke.
Hva er dette for noe?
Det har blitt en sånn religion nærmest, ikke sant?
Det gjorde veldig sterkt inntrykk på meg. Dette her var liksom min musikk.
Vi hadde nok en sånn følelse av det sammen, at det var liksom å være med på noe som er nytt og annerledes.
Det er helt konge, jo.
This is the history of Norwegian black metal with Magnus.
En extremt viktig ingrediens i black metal har alltid varit mystiken. Liksom. Ett utforskande av mörker och död och ondska egentligen. En ganska djup avgrund att stiga ner i. Det finns rätt mycket där nere som jag tror att de flesta kanske inte är beredda på att möta. Det handlar om jävligt kraftfulla saker liksom. Det kan ju sluta i total tragedi eller total kaos eller total triumf.
One of the first bands, the forerunners and one of the creators of Norwegian black metal, were the members of the band Mayhem, who came together in Langhus in 1984. The founding members were
Øystein Aarseth, Jørn Stubberud og Kjetil Manheim.
Taking their band name from the Venom song Mayhem with Mercy. They wanted to replicate the dark and aggressive sounds of bands like Venom and Hellhammer.
Der hvor på en måte Black Sabbath tidligere hadde sunget om Satan og den greiene der, da var den hele tiden en sånn bad guy. Man skulle være redd for den, på en måte. Plutselig så kommer Venom og synger om at nei, Satan er kul! Han er egentlig en jævlig kul fyr!
It was all about the shock factor and dark themes, death and destruction. They wanted to get away from metal's new direction during the 80s and went on a much darker musical path. They wanted something completely different.
På den tiden så var det ikke så nøye om det var black metal eller death metal. Det var vel ikke egentlig death metal var jo kommet. Black metal var liksom, det var en skive med Venom, ikke sant? Så det var liksom ikke kommet helt det begrepet da. Så det var ikke så nøye det med sjanger. Det skulle bare være jævlig ekstremt. Og vi ville overgå hverandre alle sammen. Alle ville være det mest ekstreme, liksom.
When the three Mayhem members played together for the first time, they knew, after playing only one song together, that they were onto something. Something new, something dark and sinister. Something that would change the black metal music scene forever.
Og det var bare sånn, der, sånn skal det være. Det det siste stykket som måtte til for å få ting til å bli ekstremt.
Mayhem recorded their first demo in 1986, pure fucking Armageddon using a cassette player with a low-quality, built-in microphone. On the tape, side A is called Fuck and side B is called Off, so Fuck Off was the title.
Og Billy, han satt bare og gapa, han bare...
Hva dette for noe?
Except for a few local friends, no one liked their demo tape.
For det var jo altså noe grisehyl av en annen verden. Det var jo... Det var ikke noe som noen hadde hørt før, ikke sant? Og det var sånn... Og det var stygt. Det var dritstygt.
To get an audience, they have to reach out to other countries. Slayer magazine interviewed Mayhem, which was a small magazine meant for black metal fans in Europe, giving Mayhem an international audience in this small genre. It was through this magazine that fans of this genre could find each other.
Og da fikk man tak i fanziner, der stod det om alle undergrunnsbandene som ikke har kommet ut på de store plateselskapene. Og da var det en hel verden som åpnet seg.
Slik kom jeg inn i undergrunnen. Jeg kjøpte en blekke i 86, som var fanzine, typ sånn ligger litt under disken omtrent. Her står det masse adresser til de forskjellige bandene som det er skrevet om. Og dette er stort sett band som ikke har platekontrakter, men alt ekstrem metal.
In this way, people could copy tapes from each other and spread the underground bands who hadn't got a record deal. Realizing that no one would give them a record contract, they decided to create their own record company and booked a small studio in Kolbotn to record their first album. The owner of the studio thought they were a reggae band. Well, that was until he heard them play. They recorded their first album, called Deathcrush, and ordered their album cover from a local printing shop. Unfortunately, the blood-red color they ordered for the cover had turned pink on the finished product.
Men akkurat i det øyeblikket så måtte vi bare tenke at dette her er for meg enda mer usmakelig. Så vi bare går med det. Så snudde vi vår egen greie opp i vår egen hue med å tenke på at dette her ble jævlig usmakelig og gærent. Så gærent at det ble riktig. Noen ganger så er gærent riktig, ikke sant?
However, when they play their record for people, no one likes it, and they manage to get one of the shortest reviews ever given to a record. Tor Rune Hogan, a critic in the music magazine Pulse, one of the leading magazines in Norway at the time, had this to say about Deathcrush.
Han sa følgende at jeg er ikke sikker på om denne plata skal spilles på 33 eller 45. Litt usikker på det. Men uansett hva jeg gjør, så høres det ut som om Kaptein Krok fingerpuler Margaret Thatcher. Det var hele anmeldelsen. Det var liksom, yes! Det var helt konge jo. Det er jo fantastisk anmeldelse.
Nevertheless, the record piques the interest for a few people listening to the heaviest metal genres.
Den er jo en ekstrem... Den er jo ikke black metal sånn som black metal blei. Men den er jo en særdeles viktig forganger til det, vil jeg påstå. For den sørget jo for at andre band begynte å gjøre det samme. Da.
Det var helt sinnssykt. Mayhem, Deathcrush-plata er vel noe det er vel det råeste som er gitt ut, synes jeg. Da. Feteste norske sakene.
This was the
mise en scène
of the Norwegian black metal scene, or the second wave of black metal. In 1987, Kjetil Mannheim, the vocalist of Mayhem, made a decision to leave the band. He chose not to spend the rest of his life as a struggling black metal vocalist, as was what he believed the future of the band was. This decision created an opportunity for a new vocalist, and this time it was someone from a neighboring country. Swedish musician Pelle Olin, famously known as Dead, reached out to Mayhem and requested an audition. He included a crucified dead mouse in the letter, because who could resist that? During his audition, Pelle's performance left the other members in awe, and he officially joined Mayhem in 1988. However, despite his musical talent, he grappled with profound mental issues and depression. His interaction with the dark-minded Oystein, rather than offering solace, pulled him deeper into the darkness, intensifying his fixation on death and what he believed lay beyond. His singing style added an even darker dimension to the genre, complemented by the arrival of a new drummer, Jan Axel Blomberg, Hellhammer, with his unique and aggressive playing style. Many believe this period marked Mayhem's peak, giving rise to what are considered some of their best songs. Pell's lyrics are renowned for their exceptionally dark themes, making them some of the darkest ever written in black metal. His delivery conveyed a genuine sense of being immersed in the very realms he sang about, making them vividly real and captivating. In an old interview in Slayer Mag X Pelli, talks about the lyrics to De Mysterias Dom Satanas, which in Latin means the mysteries of the Lord Satan, with Dom being an abbreviation of Domini, meaning sovereignty or control, and often used as an honorific prefix for clericals of the Catholic Church. The most difficult one so far is the one that will be the title track. The lyrics are about an extraordinary evil coven, that is the book. Then I found out that the lyrics weren't evil enough, and it didn't describe the enormous force sufficiently. In 1990, Mayhem plays at Jesheim, and this concert would go down in history as one of the defining moments in the realm of black metal, and showed that the black metal scene was getting scores of new fans. Some of the people present in the audience that would be greatly inspired by this experience was Stian Thorsen Shagroth, one of the later members of Dimmu Borgir. Also there, the founders of Immortal, alongside members of Black Death, later known as Darkthrone, and members of Thorns. All of these people are renowned figures and immensely instrumental in laying the very foundation of Norwegian black metal. During the performance, a profoundly dramatic incident unfolded. Pelle Olin harbored a desire to inflict wounds upon himself, intending to bleed on stage, an idea that piqued the interest of Øystein very much. They attempted to cut him with a dull knife, but when that approach proved unsuccessful, Pelle resorted to smashing a bottle over his hand. The result was a copious bleeding that forced him to exit the stage. This event caused a schism within the band, as some other members felt that Øystein's apparent lack of empathy was being misdirected and perceiving it as malevolence. Shortly after the successful concert, a rift in the band begins, a rift that would end in tragedy. Øystein and Pelle had different opinions about the future of the band and subsequently began critiquing each other. The wording between them became malevolent, especially those coming from Øystein, who could be very cruel and evil.
Øystein og Pelle begynte å krangle. Pelle var lei av Øysteins optimisme som aldri førte frem til noe som helst. Den alltid bare resulterte i kaos. Og Øystein ble da irritert og grinete på han igjen, som bare klagde og søyt hele tiden.
Øystein would manipulate Pelle and even told him that he should end his life. His spiraling depression and ominous demeanor gradually consumed him, leading his brother to believe that the burden had become unbearable. It had become a shattered mission, and he would return home with his tail between his legs. Warning, graphic description coming up. With this in his mind, dark future on the immediate horizon, Pelle Olin decides to take his own life. He was only 22 years old. Bjorn later told Norwegian television that he hadn't realized how deeply personal Pelle's lyrics had been until after he committed suicide. The person who finds his body is Øystein, and his macabre and grotesque personality now comes into full view. Instead of calling the police, he goes to the store to buy a camera. Once back from the store, he rearranged the crime scene and placed Pelle's knife on top of the shotgun before taking pictures of Pelle's dead body, but also picking fragments of bone as souvenirs. He now calls Blomberg.
Så sa han at ja, Pelle har reist hjem. Jeg bare, hva? Har han reist til Sverige nå? Nei, han har reist hjem. Bare, hva? Ja, han har blåst huet av seg. Bare, jøss, seriøst? Ja, det er helt sant. Så. Men, så typisk Øystein, men jeg har tatt bilder, sa han. Kanskje ikke så overrasket over bildene, men det måten han la det frem på, liksom, at bare, men jeg har tatt bilder, og så bare he, liksom.
Jorn is the next one Oystein contacts. He has an envelope in his hand.
Og når jeg skjønner at det det bildene av Per som ligger oppe i den konvolutten, da sa jeg bare til den at de bildene må du brenne. Du kan ikke ha noe kontakt med meg før det skjer. Men det gjorde han jo ikke da.
Så det klart at Øystein dro det der imaget til Mayhem inn i noe som ikke var noe morsomt lenger. Altså det var liksom bare destruktivt.
Jorn, who had formerly called Oystein his soulmate, quits the band when he refuses to burn them. Later, Oystein has expressed, and this may surprise some, that he thought that Pelle was brilliant. He seemingly both admired and envied his frontman. The suicide inadvertently helped to create Mayhem to become even more myth-spun than before, with even T-shirts being printed with the picture of the dead Pelle on it. With Oystein having this to say about the effect Pelle's death had had, when Dead blew his brains off, it was the greatest act of promotion he ever did for us. It's always great when someone dies. It doesn't matter who. His brother, Anders Olin, says this about his brother's tragic death.
De ser ikonen Dead, och han är död. Det jag ser är något helt annat. Jag ser min storebror och hans tragiska slut. Jag ser allt hans lidande i en bild.
The interest for Norwegian black metal now exploded, and during the years 1990 to 1993, several Norwegian bands now got record deals. This included later giants like Darkthrone, Immortal, Emperor, Satyricon, Enslaved, Thorns, and Gorgoroth. In 1991, Oystein opened a record shop in Oslo called Helvete. This became a gathering place for the emerging black metal scene and was an important place for people to find new people and black metal bands. The core members of the black metal community had diverse backgrounds and political affiliations, ranging from far-right extremism to communism. However, they found ideological unity in their strong rejection of Christian values and the search for the dark and the occult. One of the people who now entered the scene was Christian Vikernes from Bergen, better known as Varg, and the founder of the one-man black metal project Burzum. He sent a tape to Oystein, who liked what he heard, and they later met. At first, the friendship between Oystein and Varg was close, and in 1992, Vikernes recorded and released the album Burzum on Oystein's record label. This was later followed by the EP, Ash, and the full-length album, What Once Was, a few months later. However, the friendship between Oystein and Varg started to sour in late 1992. This stemmed from money issues between the two, but also the growing division between the new bands that started to change the genre.
Vi vil ikke ha pynt og krimskrams på musikken i Darkthrone. Fordi tidlig Bathory-skive trenger ikke det, og det digger vi. Og tidlig Celtic Frost og Hellhammer trenger ikke pynt og krimskrams det heller. Og det jævlig fett.
The small and tight group in Oystein's record shop insisted on keeping their old ways, threw out anybody they didn't like, and referred to themselves as the Dark Circle. They scolded the new kids on the block. Sorry, couldn't help it, and what they perceived as a hostile takeover of their beloved genre.
Det var jo noen sånn spesielle unge menn med litt spesielle musikkinteresser og kanskje litt andre spesielle interesser i tillegg, liksom, som fant hverandre, da.
Metal har jo vanvittig mange undersjangere. Og i det norske black metal-miljøet så ble man veldig anti-death metal. Death metal og black metal oppstod omtrent samtidig på 80-tallet. Og du kan si at det store skisma mellom death metal og black metal kom først på slutten av 80-tallet, tidlig 90-tall. Da det norske black metal-miljøet bestemte seg for å bryte totalt med death metal.
So, what's the difference between black and death metal, I hear you say?
Og ikke minst, death metal var litt for teknisk. Black metal orienterte seg mot atmosfære, primitive riff og gjerne litt underprodusert lyd, sånn demolyd, skikkelig undergrunn.
During the 90s, there were several church fires in Norway connected to the black metal community. At least 12 were intentionally set ablaze, all linked to the rising new genre. Varg Vikernes has been convicted of 3 of these, including Holmenkollen Church, while one church fire was started by 2 boys, one 17 and the other only 15 years old. They told the police that they had been inspired by black metal and the other fires around Norway at the time. The day before the burning of Holmenkollen Church, Barde Faust Eithun, a member of Emperor, killed a gay man in a park in Lillehammer after he had made sexual overtures towards him. Eithun claimed in court that he felt no remorse at the time, stabbing the man 37 times. Vegard Eisan Tviten, his bandmate in Emperor, said that Eithun had been very fascinated by serial killers for a long time, saying, "I guess he wanted to know what it's like to kill a person." The criminal actions associated with a perceived satanic milieu led the media to sensationalize the situation, garnering significant attention for the black metal music scene. In reality, there were very few actual Satanists within the community. Instead, members often referred to themselves as Satanists as a provocative gesture, distancing themselves from both Christianity and society. In August 1993, Øystein Aarseth was found dead in his apartment in Oslo, Norway, with multiple stab wounds. Varg Vikernes was arrested and charged with the murder. He claimed that he acted in self-defense, alleging that Øystein had plotted to kill him first. The court didn't believe him, since Aarseth was stabbed in the back. The details of the actual events that led to the death remain unclear, as there were no witnesses to the crime, but Vikernes was subsequently convicted of both murder and arson. The murder of Aarseth and Varg Vikernes' subsequent incarceration marked a significant turning point in the history of black metal. It brought notoriety to the genre, attracting media attention worldwide and solidifying its image as a dark and dangerous subculture. While some fans are drawn to the controversy and mystique surrounding these figures, others have sought to distance themselves from the violence and extremism that marred the early years of the Norwegian black metal scene. In prison, Varg Vikernes became a fully fledged neo-Nazi and continued to be a controversial and divisive figure, releasing albums and writing extensively about his beliefs and experiences. After his release, he moved to France in 2012 and changed his name to Louis Cachet. A year later, he was arrested in France on suspicion of terrorist planning after French police had monitored him for a period. The police could not prove terrorist preparation, but were indicted for inciting racial hatred and for justifying war crimes. Despite the tragedies and controversies, Mayhem endured. The band went through numerous lineup changes over the years, with Jorn Stubberud being the only remaining original member. Mayhem's enduring legacy lies not only in their music, but also in their role in popularizing the dark and theatrical aesthetics associated with black metal. Their influence can be seen in the countless bands that followed in their wake, both in Norway and around the world.
Black metal was kind of zeroing in on some kind of primeval part of you that doesn't normally get articulated in other areas of metal, let alone music fully. And having someone kind of illuminate this kind of internal landscape is extremely liberating.
Please let me know in the comments section below if you would like to see a part 2 of the history of Norwegian metal. And please join me into the dark depths of history by liking and subscribing. And I hope to see you in the next one.